out. She's convinced that all we're trying to do is riot and wait for somebody else to take care of all of our problems for us, and that's why we're doing this.
Is that how you feel?
No, this was somebody else. She's the advocate against that.
We're doing a video response to.
Well, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm coming down to the front lines to see for ourselves that people aren't lighting fires and, rearing up against the cops.
That ABC reported that when street food carts ran out of food to donate to us, not we specifically, but we occupiers,
Oh my God.
They ran out of food.
Apparently there's a fundraiser to reput. Now, if you try
sure we got that clear
on the story, you won't find it
anywhere.
That's right. The media is giving you what they want you to
The media
hear.
is controlled by the 1%, people. If you're watching
And I said the 1% of the 40% of the money.
The 1% actually owns, I just read a statistic last night, it's something like 35 or 38%, but it's roughly 20 to 30 approximation, but that was I read last night when I was researching.
Here's the thing. Here's one man who's part of the 1% that's part of the 99. Okay. He donates all of his money.
That's right.
To charities. Come on, my uncle got a grant to go to school. No payment back.
He is the anomaly, really. I mean, he's not.
There's such an issue. I take issue with that as well. Because he perpetuates an industry that is supposed to get rid of the social ills of the world. But how can an industry that's supposed to solve the social ills of the world be controlled by the 1% who perpetuate them? Is mostly. I mean, we all perpetuate them. So it's an oxymoron, really. We're here standing up symbolically against policies, practices, and laws that have been perpetuated against humanity since the beginning of time initially. This is not the first time in our country's history that we're fighting over this same thing, that we're rising up and we're saying we don't have enough. And
My point is they do not want us educated.
Exactly.
And they make it astronomically expensive. I'm $30,000 in debt for 3 years of education, and thankfully my company helps contribute to my education. But my point is they do not want us educated. Because we can't think it for ourselves then, right?
The more educated we are, the more
And the educational system is so broken that it's institutionalized.
They're trying to.
Yeah.
Now, about how do you fix it?
How do you fix it? You know what? They've been talking about that in academia forever, and there's a lot of different things because there's so much splintering in the democratic process because there's a lot of, it's not about the people anymore. It's become about special interests. And so because of that, there's splintering in the process. There's backyard deals happening.
So what do you think of capitalism?
It's not.
I want to know what you think about capitalism.
Education. We read this morning that a bunch of kids from Harvard walked out of their class in protest of their undereducated educators. Yeah. So, like, when you have Harvard kids walking out of class because they're also sick of the way we're being miseducated,
and they're teachers spouting anti-OWS rhetoric without anything to back them up, not even so much as Wikipedia.
No primary sources whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is still regarded as one of the finest schools in the country, who are also, I don't know, kind of being in solidarity with what we're doing. And to kind of break the stigma that the 99% is homeless and poverty-stricken, look at that. Most of us have jobs. Most of us have jobs or are full-time students.
That's right.
I have a home and a job.
And I'm both. I'm both full-time student and full-time mom, and I work full-time.
Yeah, and we're part of the 99%. It's not because you can afford your bills, or if you are in the 99%, it affects all of us. You're still paying the bank fees, you're still griping about gas prices but doing nothing about it, you're still being affected by the news media and the corporate conglomerates that funnel you into doing things their way.
I agree 100%. And I just want to...
I wanted to pull her over here.
I want to clarify that there has not been any fire burning, destroying of property, and crime at this spot here in Tacoma, Washington.
The Tacoma Police Department told us that, in fact, we lessened the criminal activity in this park by us moving in here.
The criminal activity in this park is almost non-existent now because we are here.
So what do you think of the media, blasting out there that there is crime going on at these places?
I stopped watching it. The propaganda they put out offended me so bad that I just stopped watching it. As a matter of fact, today that 33 protesters from Occupy were killed in Yemen, Fox News decided they were going to spend their whole day talking about nail and hair accessories. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, none of them made any mention of the fact that 33 non-violent, peaceful protesters were fired upon with automatic weapons. 33 shot dead. And that doesn't even make the news.
Oh
because
my God.
news
Outrage.
is bought by the 1%ers, the people that own banks and everything, and they're controlling what they hear. If the national public was to hear that 33 occupiers were shot in the face and killed, there'd be a lot more uprising. There'd be a lot more protesting.
I agree.
And there'd be a lot more issues.
We're criminals. The law we're breaking, killing the government's land, a.k.a. the grass.
Oh, by the way, which has already been paid to be resodded. So
Yeah.
when we
paid to have
leave,
this park redone when we leave.
it'll look better than it did when we showed up.
I love it.
So, yeah, that's as big a criminal as I get.
The gardens that we have here in the center have been already paid for to be redone. The plants are going to be taken out and replaced, and the ones that are in there are going to be salvaged if possible. There's a couple of them that are less than healthy, but we have landscapers that are willing to come in, take them out, bring them back to life.
I love it.
Replace what's there with what's there, and make this park look better than it did when we left.
I love the fact that you spend the time down here to protest, and I, for one, am a supporter, and I feel very thankful that you're down here for me because, as I said, I'm extremely busy, and I wish that I could spend more time down here.
This is I agree. You'll see us doing this a lot. There's a
I agree.
hand signal.
I agree.
I agree with what's being said.
Okay.
I disagree with what's being
Anyway.
said.
Nice.
It's too basic. Right.
Okay, don't throw another thing at her.
Right.
But as far as as far as the criminal activity that's being reported, if there is any that generates from within, it's by agitators that have been specifically planted.
The occupiers don't even allow it. A guy from Olympia came down here and told us specifically that they had meth users in their camp, and they reported those meth users to the police, who acquired search warrants, came down and searched the 4 tents in question, and only those 4 tents, arrested those drug users, took them off the property, and left the rest of the occupiers alone.
Waving, saying thank you guys for being here, and hauling away the messages.
That's right.
Yes,
We are not allowing that to happen in our movement.
So I want to know what you guys think of capitalism and socialism. What do we do? What do we do instead of? I mean, do we fix capitalism, or are we socialists? What are we?
Capitalism is...
I would like to discuss capitalism.
Capitalism.
I want to know: are we supposed to move to socialism? I mean, what is it? Is it Marx?
I think
is it
extremism
what is it?
in any form is a bad thing. If we're all the
I
way,
agree.
If we're all the way capitalist, we have serious weaknesses and some strengths.
Here,
We're
it's
all
called
the way socialist.
Keynesianism. What we're operating on is Keynesian economics. I'm sorry. I totally cut her off. This is my homegirl. Go ahead.
Oh,
girl.
she got her time in the moment.
Go
I
ahead.
got my time in my point is
I respect you and I love you and I don't interrupt people.
my point is against extremism.
Democracy in action.
We can't always be socialist. We can't always be capitalist.
Right.
I like it.
But here's the issue.
I don't have a personal viewpoint on it. That's why I'm asking.
We're operating currently under Keynesian economic policy, which is basically consumption to the bottom. There's also another economic policy that they've been widely debated, Keynesianism, Keynesian, and then there's Keynesian, K-E-Y, Keynesianism. So Keynesianism is something that's more socially responsible, and it has more of a social slant, being we are the 99%, we are the 100%, like we all count. It's really, I think, it's illogical to say that we're going to consume to the bottom because we are destroying Mother Earth. That is not environmentally sound.
I love
not
it.
sustainable. It doesn't make any sense. So that means that all of us should come together and create something that is going to be sustainable. If we continue with capitalism, we need to make all the products that we use 100% earth-friendly so that we do not destroy Mother Earth. If we can do that, if we can create a totally sustainable, recyclable, industrial life, then let's do that.
You're still on point because I'm getting my degree in business management with a focus on green and sustainable enterprise.
Exactly.
I love you for giving me that little extra that I wasn't able to research for myself.
Yes.
And I needed it. And I put my son in a school called SAMI, which is the Science and Math Institute. It's about community and it's about giving back and the environment. And I love the fact that he has that opportunity to go, at least in Tacoma. he has that opportunity to go to a school like that, and he got extra credit for what Mommy said. And Mommy said that we are all competing on the global platform, and we need to be aware of the kids that are now on the grid, and they're able to use their intelligence and communicate in a third world country in Africa with a generator going that's on the grid. You know, we need to be aware.
It's not just that. I mean, the system that we have created has been backed up by organizations such as the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. It's also been based on Keynesian economics, or consumption to the end. That's why we currently have a global market right now, and they're outsourcing our jobs. And what happens is, this is how the UN and the IMF and the World Bank work together. The International Monetary Fund goes to a third world country and says, your economy is in trouble, and we've got to loan you money. This is our mandate from the United Nations, so we're going to loan you money from the World Bank. The World Bank says, we're going to give you money, but there's going to be stipulations. You have to pay us back before you build any infrastructure, streets, libraries, things of that nature. You have to lower the value of your currency, which makes them owe much more money. And you also have to allow corporations in to give your people jobs, because that's not what they have enough of. Because these third world countries don't have the same protection agencies as the United States, such as environmental, these corporations are able to come in and wreak havoc and make the governments pay for their infrastructure to come in and give these countries jobs. These countries are never able to get out of debt, and therefore become slaves to the corporations, which have unfortunately originated in the United States, and they're now multinational.
Like, my husband was traveling one day in his work van, and one of the guys said, look at those homeless people. They're sponging or, whatever. And my husband was like, dude, they're free. We're slaves.
So the truth is though people on ABC, NBC, or the 1% would like to cast us as the demons, the bad people, the have-nots, we are just human beings, and we're standing in the gap.
That's right.
If we don't, we're doomed. The IMF actually 2 months ago gave the world economy 1 year before it collapsed, absolutely, completely collapsed.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm positive on that fact. I researched that. Well, somebody told me who's very believable, so I know they researched that fact.
I so appreciate the time that you've given me to allow myself to practice what I preach. And I figured, if I had so much opinion on Facebook about it, let me go find out for myself to see if I'm right, see if I'm on point. Because I don't know, and yet I'm speaking just from passion and what I think I know, and now I know.
Well, and the other problem is that the United Nations is well funded by the United States. And so it looks, whether it is or not, people will argue all the time, but it looks like we are being very imperialistic with our economic strength in the world. And that's why it makes us look bad. I mean, and it is bad.
Right.
I mean, because we're backing up these corporations instead of backing up the people and backing up the earth and doing things that you would think a world leader would do. Instead we've acted in a very nefarious manner, and we're not practicing democracy. This is an oligarchy. It's unfortunate. So we're about changing that, and we clean the park, and we pick up trash, and we have night security, and we take in all the homeless people that the industry of nonprofits could not provide for. And we love them, and I am a certified counselor. I have a master's degree, and I'm unemployed. And I'm here to be the change.
Thank you for talking to me. I think you're amazing. And thank you for what you're doing for the people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Love you.